There are very few spots on the planet that have captivated treasure hunters like Oak Island. The rich history of the island and the tantalizing tales of mysterious wealth hidden in its bowels has driven even the greatest men mad with lust and greed. The tales of dead slaves, lost knights, and greedy pirates that make up the history of the island make it one of the most mysterious places in the world. In this video, we will be looking at top 10 of the most unbelievable facts about Oak Island. Watch out for number 9. In this gripping video, we promise an exploration of Oak Island like never before because it will blow your mind. The island has a long history. When people talk about the island, they usually start with Daniel McGinnis and his discovery of the money pit, like that's where the history began. But it's really not. Oak Island wasn't just discovered by McGinnis and the men who stowed their treasure there. Recent excavation attempts have discovered items on the island that can be traced back to the 13th century. Daniel McGinnis only discovered the island in the 18th century. That means there are at least 500 years of human activity on the island that we have no clue about. Some say this 500-year gap in our knowledge is the reason why we know next to nothing about who dug the money pit. Do you think that's the reason? Roosevelt was very interested in Oak Island. Franklin D. Roosevelt is one of America's most remarkable presidents. He led the country through World War II and did the groundwork for ushering a new international order in the world. All of this proves that he was a very serious and smart man. What most people don't know is that as a young 27-year-old man, Roosevelt was extremely interested in the secrets of Oak Island. He even made the journey to the island and also attempted to find its missing treasures. In the annals of Oak Island's rich history, the chapter featuring Franklin D. Roosevelt serves as a testament to the enduring human fascination with the unknown, reminding us that even leaders of nations can be drawn to the mystique of uncharted territories and the tantalizing prospect of uncovering hidden treasures. The island wasn't mapped. Until 1924, Oak Island was a mystery for a very long time. For over 100 years after McGinnis discovered the money pit, the island remained unmapped. It wasn't until 1924 that the geology of the island was mapped by J.W. Goldthwait. It was discovered that the island itself might be over 75,000 years old. The mapping of Oak Island in 1924 was a game changer, unlocking its secrets and adding to its mystique. As each contour was unveiled, the island's ancient history, over 75,000 years old, became tangible. Goldthwait's expedition marked a crucial chapter, inviting explorers like Franklin D. Roosevelt to delve into its captivating mysteries. Oak Island only became popular in 1969. Today, the legend of Oak Island is pop history. Almost everyone knows about it, and most people dismiss it as an empty ruse that means nothing. However, this wasn't always true. Before 1969, knowledge of the island was extremely esoteric, and only a few people knew about the mysteries it held. But a 1969 edition of Reader's Digest featured a story about the island, and this was what eventually made Oak Island mainstream. In 1969, a Reader's Digest feature turned Oak Island from obscurity to a household fascination. The island's hidden history, once dismissed, now captivated curiosity, inviting adventurous and enthusiasts to explore its long-obscured secrets. How did a 1969 Reader's Digest feature transform Oak Island from obscurity to fascination, sparking interest and exploration? The story of Captain Kidd. According to legend, Captain Kidd is the legendary pirate who hid his treasure on Oak Island. Some say that he hid his treasure because he was on the run from enemies, and others say he just hid it for safekeeping and wanted to return to dig it out at the end of his days. Others say that the treasure wasn't originally his and was only stolen from a captured vessel. What we know for sure is that a vessel that was captured by Captain Kidd has now been discovered. Interestingly, there are no remnants of any treasure on it. If there was any treasure on this vessel, it's long gone. To others, this is definite proof that the treasure never existed and is merely a figment of the imagination. However, some people say that the treasure was moved from the vessel to Oak Island before it sank. The legend of Francis Drake. Anyone who knows about the lore of Oak Island knows about the tale of Francis Drake. Drake was born in 1540 and was one of 12 brothers. Drake was an apprentice with a neighbor who owned a ship, and the neighbor was so taken with him that he left him the ship when he died. That's how Drake began his career as one of the most daring sailors the seas had ever seen. He raided Spanish ships and went around the world looking for treasures in far-off continents. One time, Drake brought back goods that were worth more than the Queen's annual salary. That's how rich he was. While there are no records of Drac ever visiting Oak Island, there are some who believe that he built the money pit and hid all his treasures there. Since he was a slaver too, some believe that he's the one who brought slaves to the island. The fact that no one actually knows where he was buried made some postulate that he was buried on the island. However, there's very little evidence for that. We now know that Francis Drake died of dysentery and was likely buried at sea. Samuel Ball. One of the most inspiring stories of Oak Island isn't one of treasure. Instead, it's one of pure human ingenuity. Ball was born a slave, but at age 11 he escaped from a North Carolina plantation to chart his own course in life. By the time Ball died on Oak Island, he'd become one of the largest landowners in all of Nova Scotia. Some say Ball did this by finding the elusive treasure, but there's no evidence for that. How do you think Samuel Back made his money? The Shakespeare Manuscript. Most people who come to Oak Island come to look for treasures. But for a few, potential treasures aren't the most important things on the island. In fact, a lot of people believe that the most important thing on the island isn't some treasure. Instead, it's a piece of paper. Or several sheets of paper anyway. According to Pulitzer Prize nominee Randall Sullivan, Francis Bacon came to Oak Island with lost Shakespeare manuscripts and buried them in a lead box. The fact that people excavating the ground have found sheets of paper leads us to believe that Sullivan might just be right. The Knights Templar. The Knights Templar used to be one of the richest Christian sects in all of Christendom. By the 13th century, the group was so powerful that it held considerable influence over the church. The Knights Templar were rich and brave men who could move kingdoms, and they did exactly that through the crusades they participated in and funded. The sect became so powerful that the Grand Master, who was the leader of the sect, only answered to the Pope. However, things were not rosy for long. Soon there was a new king of France, and this king was indebted to the Templars. He decided to solve that problem by arresting all the Templars and seizing their huge wealth. According to legend, a few of those Templars escaped with their wealth and fled to Oak Island. That's a fantastic tale. But when you consider that a cross of the Templars has been found on the island, it starts to sound believable. The Tant Goddess. A cross found on the island was said to belong to the Tant Goddess. The worshippers of the goddess are known to offer child sacrifices. The question now is this: were any children sacrificed on the island? Could the island bear witness to such ancient rites involving children? What do you think? Let us know in the comment. There are still hundreds of unsolved mystery stories we are willing to uncover on Mystery Unity. If the enigma of Oak Island has captured your curiosity, dive deeper into the secrets by watching our complete video about it on the channel, sharing more intriguing stories with you in our upcoming videos. See you in the next mystery adventure video. If you are interested about the mystery of Oak Island, you need to check out our complete video about it on the channel. There are still hundreds of ancient wonders, mystery stories we are willing to uncover on Mystery Unity. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe so you don't miss them. See you in the next video.